We have heard this statement many a times. Our health is in our hands. But it's not just the health. Our good luck is also in our hands. Our happiness could also be in our hands. And we will also see how some wisdom can also come out of our hands. So let's first look at the health aspect of it. Indian traditions are so scientific in their approach. In fact, the whole creation, how everything came from the space element down to the air, and then the warmth, the heat, the light happened, and from that the water element came and the earth element came. These are the 5 elements of which the entire universe, the whole creation is made up of, and also the human body, the human system, I would say, mind, body, spirit. What is out there is also in here. It is said, Yat Brahmande Tat Pinde, or Yatha Pinde Tatha Brahmande. So our human body is like a microcosm of the entire macrocosm. It is a one-to-one mapping also. Now let's see how this is mapped in our fingers, in our hands. So the 5 elements correspond to the 5 senses and also the 5 fingers. First, let us look at the fire element, because that is the element that we can see. That is represented by the thumb. And always fire goes up, right? Then there is the air element, which is denoted by the index finger. The space element, which is denoted by the middle finger. It is the longest, the biggest. So the space element is in which all the other 4 elements exist. So that's the space element. Then the ring finger is for the earth element, and the little finger is for the water element. It is so interesting, when we say, I want to go for urination, I want to go pee, we will say, I want to go for number 1. What is this? This is the water element. Even that was so scientific. And we do the counting with the little finger first. So it's always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So number 1 is to go pee. Number 2 is the earth element. And the counting, as I said, number 2 refers to I want to go poo. Or I want to go defecate. Now don't say now 3 would be or 4 would be to fart. Let's not go into that. Just know that these 5 elements are represented in the 5 fingers. So in yoga, or let's say advanced yoga, we have various mudras, hand gestures, which you could also see in Indian classical dance, or a statue of Buddha or any of the gods in the Hindu pantheon. They will have various mudras. They depict the energy channeled or directed in a certain way. This we learn on the advanced meditation program of the Art of Living, where we see how a particular mudra can ease out any problems in the heart or the breathing issues. Let's say during periods, to how to relieve period pain, there is a certain mudra which can direct the flow of energy to that body part. How to enhance our 5 senses, there is a mudra for that. How to get rid of a headache, splitting headache, or some heaviness in the head, just sitting in a particular mudra, in a gesture, and just having some deep breaths can relieve us of all that aches and pains. Or how to strengthen our back. It's so interesting. A baby, when it starts walking from the stage of crawling, it'll start sucking its thumb. That is a particular mudra. So all these spiritual or meditative as well as therapeutic mudras are delved into on the advanced meditation program, the part 2 of the Art of Living workshop. Ayurveda looks at how these 5 elements are constituted or reconstituted or expressed in the body. They look at it with the combination of these 5 elements which form the doshas, the Vata, Pitta and Kapha.
So Vata is the air element and the space element.
These two forms the Vata. Then the Kapha is the earth element and the water element. The phlegm, the Kapha element. And the fire element and the water element, this forms the Pitta. So the balance of these elements in our system will indicate whether you have sharpness of awareness, or whether you are a slow person, or whether you can be very creative but you can't sit in one place at a time. So the combination of these 5 elements or the 3 doshas can constitute our health, physical as well as mental health. So the entire body is also about balance. Balance of warmth and cold, balance of various chemicals in our brain, various chemicals in our bloodstream, which is called homeostasis, which is governed by the pituitary and the pineal glands and the thalamus and the hypothalamus. So all this comes down to balance. So a little understanding about the 5 elements or the 3 doshas can really bring us to a sense of balance, which is called swasthya, being established in the self, in our center. So how do we remember the 5 elements and the 5 fingers? As I said, the fire element, fire always goes up. Yeah? The water element, water always goes down. Yeah? Then we are pointing with the index finger. The air is all around, but we are pointing. Yeah? So we say this is the index finger connects to the air. The biggest is the middle finger. So the space element in which all the 4 elements coexist. Yeah? They play and interplay. So that is why the middle finger is the space element, and the ring finger is the earth element, where you put your engagement ring or a wedding ring to have that stability of the earth, the acceptability of Mother Earth. So you can say this is the ring finger. Some cultures also say that this connects directly to the heart, so it strengthens our heart. Yeah? So you can remember, the ring finger is the earth finger, little finger is water element, the space element, the air element and the fire element. That's why in cultures all over the world, to say good luck, we say this. Yeah? Or we have the same mudras. This is for fantastic, oh this is so good, isn't it? Yeah? Or the sign of victory. Of course, this is a V, but the air and the space element are rejoicing. So you are in that good space. That is why we say victory. So you can have all these connections, but know that this is a fabulous science which connects to our whole body and our mind. You would have heard some great orators or speakers holding their hands like this when they are talking, when they are giving a presentation. What does this mean? It means all the elements are coming together. You are in your elements. In fact, this is called a Hakini Mudra, which affects the third eye center, the Agya Chakra. It affects your concentration, your memory power, your cognition. It clears up your mind. It gives you better ideas. And that is what is required when you are conveying or communicating to an audience. So, holding our fingers like this, it's also a very powerful mudra. In the Indian tradition, it is best to sit on the ground and eat food with our fingers. Now, what happens when we sit on the ground? Then we are bending many a times forward like this. This movement presses the abdomen and you will not tend to overeat. Not only that, when all your fingers are together, this is called the Samana Mudra. This directs the flow of energy to the abdominal region and it increases the fire, the digestive fire in the body. It helps digestion. So that is why it is best we eat with our fingers, because that not only aids digestion, but it also improves the absorption, the assimilation of all the minerals and the vitamins and the food that we are eating by the human body and by the mind. Okay, now let's look at how we can bring some wisdom out of our hands. For this, I would refer to what Gurudev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says. Two instances he gave. You know, all our fingers are different. Similarly, when you look around us, people are of so many different backgrounds and ideas and thought processes and viewpoints and prejudices. They have their own mindsets. So many a times people will say that you should behave the same with everyone, equal rights and all that. Gurudev brings beautiful wisdom out of this. He said, we need to have the same feeling for everyone, samabhav, but not necessarily samavyavahar. Our behavior can be different. The way you behave with your girlfriend would be different than the way you behave with your mother or your grandmother or with your boss or with your professor. So our behavior can be different, but the internal intention, the vibration is the same. You know, you have that feeling of love, of care, but you can behave separately. So like the fingers, we all love our fingers 100%. We have the same bhav, but what they can do or how you can behave with them can be different. At another point, Gurudev had said how different religions of the world, they may be different ritualistically. Yeah. Some have different symbols. We do bow down to certain direction, or we go ring the bell or break the coconut or light a lamp or light a candle. Our rituals can be different, but the basis of all religions is the same. The essence need to be the same. And that is what is spirituality. So all fingers are like the different religions, but when they come together into the essence, the spiritual wisdom, then that becomes the strength. And this is what is required in our pluralistic culture today, in such diversity, how we can seek harmony and how we can seek strength in that. And lastly, we always do Namaskar. This is what, not only all the fingers coming together, the palms coming together. Our hands symbolize action. So what we are saying when we do a Namaskar, it's like the head is bowing down to the heart, and let my actions come from that space, from that feeling. That is why we say Namaskar. So I bow down to the divine inside you. I bow down, dropping my judgments, dropping all my preconceived notions, and I come from a space of heart, of love. Jai Gurudev.